Hello, happy Monday. This is your Monday message. And thank you all who emailed me and reached out to me wondering where I was last week. That was really touching for me. I appreciate it. I did tweak my back on a mountain bike riding incident, and so it set me back a little bit. So I wasn't able to keep with my regular schedule, but I'm better, and I really appreciate you reaching out. So let's get to it. You know, there's a lot going on in the collective right now, not that there isn't always, but right now the energy is very compressed. So there's an enormous amount of information, activity, thoughts, beliefs, all kinds of things are just being crammed into a small space. It's kind of like when you see a storage unit and you open up the door and everything comes tumbling out. It's like the energy is really packed in right now. So people are going to be feeling a number of things. One, like they can't keep up. Two, like they're overwhelmed. Three, like there just isn't enough blank to go around, enough money, enough time, enough energy, enough support, enough. There's a lot of scarcity that goes on in this type of a situation. And really at the foundation is overwhelm. So, be mindful of those energies and use this time, use these moments to watch your reactivity. Just because culture at large, energy at large is cramping down and trying to scoot you along at its pace, you do not have to comply. You do not have to go with that current, so to speak. Rather, you can slow your own life down. And the idea that by creating a balance in your life, somehow that will create an imbalance in your life, it just doesn't really make sense. But we tell ourselves these fearful scarcity statements that are just lies. And it's funny because, I've been teaching this magnetism course, and last week we really dove into thought patterns and the inner voice. And I shared a statistic with the class in that, depending on who you are, anywhere from 12 to 60,000 thoughts we can have in a day. And that's conservative. There's other studies, that was from the, I think it was the Science Found, it was a Science Foundation of some sort. I can't remember the exact name, but the point being, there have been other studies in addition to the Science Foundation that have said that we have even more than 60 or 70,000 thoughts. But what's fascinating is that 85% of those thoughts tend to be negative, and 95% of those thoughts tend to be repetitive. So we're telling ourselves a bunch of crap and we're repeating it to ourselves. See, and this is the purpose of being mindful. This is the purpose and why we have to be intentional, because our thinker will lead us astray every time. And the other piece about that is that most of the things we think mean nothing. We're just thinking them. And we think because we want to control life, and we can't control the external reality. So we go in our minds and start concocting all these structures and all this stuff. And yeah, it's really wild. So many of the thoughts, most of the thoughts we have are irrelevant and false. And as I talked to the class on Saturday, all of us know or have heard, maybe you haven't, but if you have created something, whether it's a project at work, whether it's a piece of music, a piece of art, whether you did your hair a certain way or whatever, 25 people can tell you, oh, it looks nice. Good job. I really like that, what you wrote. I really like that. And all of that just kind of washes over us like, okay, that's good. But then one critic will come up and say, I don't know. I don't know if I like that much. Or, you should have just done this with the formatting. Or, your hair color is a little eh. And suddenly that's what we glob onto. And so in these processes, we have to, for every negative statement we hear, we almost have to do like 50 or even 100 times positive to drown out that critical voice. And I think at its core, as animals, mammals, what we are, we have programmed into our DNA, into our structure, survival mechanisms. And we know that whenever change comes into our awareness, the brain gets a signal, change, danger, danger. Some of you may be old enough to remember the Lost in Space, the robot, when danger, danger, right? Well, that's what our brain does, danger, danger. And it wants to stop us from expanding, from growing, from changing, from moving forward. Anyhow, I'm saying all this to you because in this time, when the external reality is filled with fear and political people use it, commercials use it. It is a tool people use ongoingly to try and A, tell you who you are, and B, tell you what you need to do, and C, tell you what you need to think. And if you have fear in your system that's unresolved, and if you think that's an adequate response to life, that's inside of you. That's something you want to deal with, because if you don't, then you are prey. You are easy prey. You fall victim to those, we'll call them emotional vampires, for lack of a better term at this moment, who want to come in and use you. You are a mechanism for their agenda, nothing more. And I know many of you who have these enormous hearts and care so much about your fellow humans and really want to see people prosper. You sometimes are the most susceptible to the fear talk, because all they have to do is push an emotional button, a pain button, a hate button, an injustice button, and suddenly you lose all sense of power inside of yourself. So I'm talking to you in these terms because as we're dealing with this compressed energy and this buildup to the presidential election, when all it's going to be is fear, a steady diet, 24/7, have some fear in your sandwich, have some fear in your soup, have some fear with your banana. Here you go, have some fear. And that's how you should be making your choice. I'm just encouraging you to go inward and say, who's my master? Am I going to align with these external, let's just call them idiots? I know that's a judgment, but I just feel like saying it. Let's just call them fools who are trying to use all of us for their own personal agenda. I've made no secret of the fact that I'm not convinced that either presidential candidate has anybody's interest at heart. Or maybe one or both of them tell themselves they do, but they don't. From my point of view, is there a lesser of two evils? I don't really know. All I want to say is that my security, your security, my safety, your safety, my ability to thrive, your ability to thrive is not predicated on who is in the White House. And the more you understand that, the more you grasp that. And that goes beyond the White House, by the way. That goes to other physical situations, organizations that you attach yourself as believing they hold the key or the power to your wellness. So I'm encouraging you to keep stepping back from the programming and the control energy that is prevalent in our culture right now, and take back your power and go to the source, the intelligence that gave you life, the consciousness of which you are a part of, FYI. We're not separate, we are together. And activate your power through that consciousness, not through these momentary, localized experiences with people who are innately flawed and working out their own karma, as I say, on a large stage. Don't buy into that. Okay, bringing it back into focus here. The energy is very compressed the next couple of weeks. Stay away from the news. Take plenty of time. Create balance in your own energy and space. Do not let the external dictate whether or not you have balance. And people get caught up in the scarcity idea that if I create balance and take time for myself, my life's going to fall apart. Actually, it's the opposite. When you create balance inside of yourself, balance is what you'll have in your external life. Thought precedes matter. Energy precedes matter. Create the energy of balance first, and you will experience it in your outcome. It's a great opportunity to understand your power and claim it. So there's so much going on in the collective that's wild out there, but it's such a wonderful transformative period. I'm going to drill down later in the week or next week, depending on when all the information comes through, about the presidential election, about the pandemic as it's being called, and the rest of the year, because one of the things that happens, the side effect of going inward, which everybody has been doing this year, whether they want to or not. You've had no choice. You're quarantined, you're locked down. Some of you, your jobs have been taken away from you. You've been forced to go inward. That's going to pay off for everybody. So as we get through the second half of December into 2021, it's really going to lift. So we have a payoff, if you want to call it that, coming in. We're going to all have some relief. Energy is always changing, but I just want everybody to rest assured that there is a moment of exhale. There is a moment of feeling good and a moment of freedom again. It's coming. So I'll fill in the blanks between that and next time I share with you. And then I hope to write my predictions for 2021 before the end of the month. Okay, so you guys hang in there, know your power, take your power, know your value, align with the reality you want to be aligned with, which is not fear-based. Fear is not your friend. Pain is not your friend. Right? Your friend is benevolence. Anyhow, chew on that for a while, and I welcome your comments and anything else you want to share. All righty, so you guys have a great day and a great week. Take care.